Have you ever said something so simple, yet so powerful, that it completely shifted the way a woman looked at you? Not because you were rich, not because you were handsome, but because your words made her feel something she couldn't explain, something unforgettable. That's the kind of power we're talking about today. Not surface-level charm, not sweet nothings whispered into the void, but forbidden compliments, words that stir her curiosity, hijack her attention, and make her heart race at 2 a.m. just thinking about what you said. Because let's be honest, most guys are saying all the right things, but getting nowhere. You're beautiful. You have amazing eyes. That dress looks incredible on you. Sure, they're nice, harmless. But they're also predictable, boring, and completely forgettable. These compliments come and go like a gust of wind, in one ear and out the other. She might smile, maybe even say, "Thank you," but in truth, it won't stick. Why? Because every guy says the exact same thing. But what if you said something different? What if your words didn't just flatter her? What if they haunted her in the best possible way? In this video, I'm going to give you 3 forbidden compliments. Compliments so potent, so emotionally charged, that they can flip the entire dynamic between you and her. These aren't just compliments, they're emotional grenades. Say them with confidence, and she'll never see you the same way again. Let's dive into the first one. Forbidden compliment number 1. There's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out. Sounds simple, right? But let me break down why this works like magic. Attraction isn't just visual. It's psychological, emotional. It's that mysterious pull you feel when 2 people are close, and neither can explain why their heart is racing just a bit faster. When you say this line, you're doing so much more than complimenting her looks. You're telling her, there's something about you I can't label, I can't control. You're telling her she's not just pretty, she's compelling, she's irresistible, she's a mystery you can't solve. And do you know what women love more than attention? Being a puzzle. Because a woman who hears you're beautiful has heard it 1,000 times. But when she hears, there's something about you that I can't figure out, her mind activates. She starts wondering, what is it about me that drives him crazy? What does he see in me that no one else does? Why can't he explain it? That's when it begins. That's when you become the one she can't stop thinking about. Because now it's not just about what you said, it's about what she feels around you. Women don't just want to be admired, they want to be wanted. Not in a shallow, obvious way, but in a way that feels uncontrollable, primal, inevitable. When your words imply that even you don't know what's pulling you toward her, that you've lost your composure, that's the moment her ego and her emotions collide, and that is the moment she starts to fall. So remember, it's not about being flashy, it's about making her feel seen in a way that's new and unforgettable. Use this wisely. Because once you unlock this power, once you trigger that emotional mystery inside her, there's no turning back. Let's move on to the next forbidden compliment. So you've just said it. The first forbidden compliment. You dropped it like a mystery. And then silence. No explanations, no justifications, just tension thick enough to cut with a knife. That's where the real power begins. Because telling her there's something about you that drives me crazy but I can't figure it out isn't just a line, it's a declaration. A subtle confession that she has a kind of power over you. A power she didn't even know she had. And nothing awakens a woman's curiosity and desire more than realizing that she holds that kind of invisible grip on a man. But here's the thing. It's not just about what you say. It's how you say it. The delivery is everything. Picture this. You're sitting beside her. Maybe it's in a dimly lit cafe or the passenger seat of your car after a late-night drive. The air between you hums with something quiet, electric, The conversation flows effortlessly. She laughs, you smirk, there's chemistry, but it's still unspoken. Then, a brief pause. She glances at you with a playful gleam in her eyes, and in that moment, when she's least expecting anything, you lean in. Just a little, not too close, just enough to shift the atmosphere. And in a slow, low tone you say, "There's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out." Then you pull back. You don't explain. You don't rush to fill the silence. You let it hang, like a puzzle you casually dropped on her lap, and now she's hooked. She may laugh it off, she may tease you with a smirk or roll her eyes, but inside, her thoughts are racing, her curiosity is burning. She wants to ask, "What do you mean? What is it about me? Tell me," but she won't. Not yet, because she knows the game just as well as you do, and she won't show her hand so easily. But later, when she's alone, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, that's when it hits her. She won't just be thinking about you, she'll be feeling you. The memory of your voice, the softness of your tone, the way your eyes locked onto hers, like she was something rare, something mysterious, something that couldn't be neatly defined. You left it unfinished, and now she has to fill in the blanks. That's the magic, because women, at their core, are emotional beings. They don't just want attention, they want to feel like they matter, like their very presence can shake something loose inside a man's chest. And this compliment, it does exactly that. It doesn't just say she's pretty. It says she's dangerous. It says she's unforgettable. It says that without even trying, she's already carved a space in your mind. And that's the kind of thing women fantasize about in the middle of the night. So the next time you see her, watch how she looks at you. There'll be a new light in her eyes. A flicker of curiosity, a quiet hunger. Why? Because the seed has been planted, and now she needs to know more, but don't give it all away. Keep the mystery alive, let her wonder, let her chase. Because the more she wanders through that emotional maze, the deeper she falls. Now, get ready for forbidden compliment number 2. I probably shouldn't say this, but damn, you're dangerous. So now the game has shifted. You planted the first compliment like a quiet spark, then you pulled back, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about you. But just when her mind is still replaying that moment, boom, you drop the second compliment. One that flips the dynamic on its head, because this time, you're not just complimenting her, you're framing her as the danger. Forbidden compliment number 2. I probably shouldn't say this, but damn, you're dangerous. There's something electric about being called dangerous, especially when it comes from a man who says it like he's just realized he might be in trouble. See, women are used to being called beautiful. They've heard gorgeous, sexy, stunning from every direction, on dating apps, in clubs, through DMs, even from men they don't respect. These words have become background noise, but dangerous? Now that's different. That's rare. That's exciting. That makes her pause. And the secret lies not just in the words, but how you say them. You don't blurt it out like a pickup line at a bar. You don't toss it casually in the middle of a joke. No. You deliver this one when the energy between you is already crackling. Imagine this. You're sitting close. Too close. Maybe she's just said something teasing. Maybe she playfully challenged you, and you catch yourself looking at her a second too long. In that moment, the air tightens. Your eyes lock. You lean in slightly. Not aggressively, just enough to feel the electricity in the space between you. Then, with a breath you didn't mean to let go, you say it, low, slow, like the words slipped out on their own. I probably shouldn't say this, but damn, you're dangerous. Then stop. Say nothing else. Let her feel it. Let her feel the flip in her stomach, the heat rising to her cheeks, the sudden rush of blood that makes her lips part ever so slightly, as if she's about to say something, but doesn't. Because you didn't just compliment her, you reframed the entire moment. You flipped the script. She's no longer the one holding all the cards. She's no longer the judge, the prize, the passive recipient of attention. Now, you are evaluating her. Now, she's the one under the microscope. And here's the secret. Women love that. Every woman wants to be that woman, the one who can make a man lose his control. The one who has that kind of effect, the one who's not just pretty but lethal. And when you look at her, shake your head like you're frustrated with your own reaction and whisper, "You're dangerous." You've just confirmed it. You're telling her that just being around her is risky, that there's something in her presence, her vibe, her smile, her essence, that makes you feel like you're dancing on the edge of a cliff, and that if you're not careful you might fall. That's the kind of thought that keeps her awake at night, because now she's wondering, what exactly is it about me that makes him say that? Why does he look at me like I'm fire wrapped in silk? Does he feel this tension too, or am I imagining it? And once these questions start looping in her head, you've already won. But here's the best part. You don't give her the answer. Because when she finally leans in and asks, "Wait, what do you mean by that?" You don't break the tension. You don't spill the truth. You just smile, smirk, shake your head slightly, and say, "You know exactly what I mean. That's it. No more words. Let her wonder. Let her spiral, because mystery is your weapon, and now she's chasing you. And she doesn't even realize it yet. Let's move on to the final forbidden compliment, the one that plants a thought so deep in her mind she'll carry it for weeks. So you just called her dangerous. Then, without giving her time to process it, you casually changed the subject. No pause, no explanation. You acted like it never even happened, and that's where the power multiplies. Because while you've moved on, she hasn't. She's still sitting there, heart pounding, thoughts spinning. That compliment, it hit different. It wasn't like the others she's used to brushing off. It wasn't sweet. It wasn't safe. It was unsettlingly honest. Now she's replaying it in her head, over and over again, trying to decode your tone, your expression, the way you looked at her when you said it. And later that night, when she's lying alone in bed, unable to sleep, that's when the fantasy begins. And just when she thought it couldn't go any deeper, you drop the final blow. Forbidden compliment number 3. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. This isn't just a compliment. It's a confession. It's the kind of thing that doesn't feel rehearsed, because it isn't. It spills out in those rare moments when the tension between you two becomes unbearable. When the air feels thick, when silence is louder than words. It's not planned. It's not polished, it's raw, it feels like you're losing control. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because here's the truth most men don't understand. Women aren't just attracted to confidence, they're captivated by the crack in it. By that moment when a man, usually composed, usually self-assured, lets it slip, even for a second, even if it's just in a breath, a glance, a half-spoken sentence. That's when she feels like she's touched something real, something vulnerable, something dangerous. Most guys play it safe. They give her compliments that feel nice, pleasant, respectful. "You're beautiful. You have a lovely smile." Sure, those words are sweet. But they don't burn. They don't stay with her after she walks away. They don't make her stomach twist or her breath catch. But when you lock eyes with her, exhale slowly, like you're wrestling with something inside, and then say, with your voice slightly shaking, "You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you." That's it. That's when everything changes. because now you've poured gasoline on the fire. Suddenly, she can't unfeel it. She remembers the tension in your voice, the way your fingers twitched, like you were holding yourself back. The moment your breath hitched, like she had just done something to you without even realizing it. And here's what makes it even more potent. This isn't just a compliment, it's a challenge. You're not just saying she's attractive, you're showing her that she has power over you, real power, and yet you're choosing not to act on it. That restraint, that discipline, it crawls under her skin and stays there, because now she's thinking, what if he gave in? What would that feel like? How far would we go if he finally let go? And the longer she thinks about it, the more she wants it to happen. But here's the trick, the golden rule. You don't act on it. You don't lean in. You don't brush her arm. You don't cross the line. You just let the words linger in the air. Let them sink into her body like heat through her skin. Then, like nothing happened, you shift the conversation to something random, something light. As if you didn't just reprogram her nervous system with a single sentence. And that night, when she's back in bed, guess what she'll be thinking about? Not what you said, but what you didn't do, and that's the real fantasy. So now, the seed is planted. You didn't act on your desire, you didn't cross the line, but the words, they stayed. And now, they're circling in her mind, feeding her curiosity, her craving, her imagination. And once a woman starts thinking about that, about the feeling of being wanted, yet untouched, of being the temptation someone had to resist with every ounce of willpower, she won't be able to stop. It becomes a loop. A beautiful, maddening loop. It plays in her head when she wakes up. It whispers in her ears while she's brushing her hair. It comes back in flashes when she sees your name pop up on her phone. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. She replays the tone in your voice, the pause after you said it, the restraint in your body. And here's the kicker. The more she thinks about it, the more she feels it. Not in her head, but in her chest. In her skin, the memory of tension becomes its own kind of pleasure, one that she didn't expect. One that lingers. So what do you do next? You don't become predictable. Don't ruin the spell by doing what every other guy would do. Don't chase. Don't fumble. Don't explain yourself. Next time you're with her, whether it's over dinner, during a walk, or in a quiet corner of a party, look her directly in the eyes. Hold the silence for half a second longer than feels comfortable. Then, lower your voice. Speak not to her ears, but to something deeper, to the part of her that aches for mystery, for danger, for the thrill of being wanted without being consumed. And say something that makes her heart pound in her chest. It doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be poetic. It just has to be real, and delivered with calm, piercing intention. Because the moment you speak that way, the moment your voice drops, the moment she sees that flicker of restraint and intensity in your eyes, that's when she feels it again, that subtle loss of control. That tension that sits beneath the surface of every word, that thrilling game between two people who know they're attracted, but don't act on it, and that's unforgettable. It's not about touching her skin, it's about touching her mind. It's about making her remember you in moments of silence, long after you've gone. So next time you're with her, don't be ordinary. Don't say the things she's heard 1,000 times. Don't fall into the trap of being just another man who tried to impress her with charm and compliments. Be the man who made her feel everything without needing to do anything. Be the one who left her heart racing just from a glance, a pause, a whisper. This is Bright Stoicism. Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and never ever be forgettable.